Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all here, healthy and out in public. So let's start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Since we have a pastor present, would it be okay if I motion for him to do our invocation?
I would be happy for him to do that. If you will come forward to the microphone, please.
Hi, guys. My name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Kennebec. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. So.
Right on.
Let's pray. Father, just thank you for this time that we can do the business of this town. Ultimately, Lord, we remember that everything we have and everything we do comes from you, and it's to honor you. So I pray that you'll be honored tonight. I pray you'll just guide these proceedings, and I pray your blessings upon this town and upon these people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, amen. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, the agenda is before the board. What say ye?
Agenda?
The motion is before you that we approve the agenda. Are there any additions, or are you ready to vote? If nothing, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. The agenda is approved. All right, and we have no presentations tonight? Well, no, okay. Public comment. Now, some of you are signed up for the public comment, and you will have an opportunity to speak later when the business comes up. So if that's true, let me know. But otherwise, I'll call on you and see what you want to do. Robert Neeson. Just let us know what you need.
Okay. Robert Nissen, 331 West Depot Street, Nissen Automotive Incorporated. There's the town ordinance, I forgot the exact number, that requires screening. And I just wanted to say again that when my business opened, we complied with basically the same demands and have the screening that was present then. I know the action was the new ordinance was tabled for a year, but that was because of COVID, which really hasn't gotten any better. In fact, it's impacted my business significantly. Things have not improved. And suddenly I don't have a whole lot of money to pay for a new fence, yet my landlord is going to put a fence up regardless. But I guess the thing that I really want to talk about is that seems like no matter what I've done to clean up or move things around, it just doesn't seem to matter. There's vehicles that I have on my property, none of which are junk. It's not a junkyard, and I don't appreciate the classification as such. And the state law covering the description of a junked vehicle is worth less than $100 and inoperable. I may have vehicles that are inoperable while I'm working on them, but none of them are worth less than $100.
That's why they're there, right?
And some of the vehicles I have there are ones where somebody didn't pay their bill, and I'm waiting on paperwork from the state, which has been a nightmare to try and get any of that because the license and theft division has been all backed up because of COVID. So I'm asking for understanding and getting our fence put up that, it's on the road frontage areas and not necessarily in the back where I still have the fabric screening, which was approved when we opened in 2012. And hold off. I'd just appreciate if you could hold off any penalties because there already has been a contractor that's picked out, and he's trying to pull a permit, but the town hall was closed down last week. And so anyway, that's what I'm looking for is help with that so that I don't get penalized while we're in the process of complying.
Okay. Robert, when we receive information like this, we're not in a position to take action on it. Let me refer this to the town manager and to the appropriate people who will be in touch with you. So thank you for coming forward.
Mr. Mayor, can we make a comment, please?
Yes.
Mr. Neeson, who referred as your lot as a junkyard?
It's, if not for that classification, then there's really nothing wrong with what I'm doing in the vehicles that I have there, because I have not sold any parts from any vehicles, and that's what I have to do to be a junkyard or a scrap yard. And apparently the ordinance puts me in that category. And when we had the town meeting more than a year, right at a year ago, was it? Jeez, time flies. In 2020, April 2020, there was the the zoning manager, Sean, he said that based on their inoperability and not being registered, that put them in the category of being junk. But there's also, I looked at the state code and it says different. But anyway, that was the only thing that I was non-compliant in, which would require me to have additional screening, because I'm just not a repair shop, not a junkyard. That's
Okay, thank
all
you.
I got.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Tommy Burns. You'll state your name and address, please.
Tommy Burns. I'm at 2237 Oak Grove Church Road, Andrew. I'm here tonight to discuss a similar issue that the gentleman before me spoke about. I represent the family and the estate and the widow of Jerry Reeves. Mr. Reeves was my father-in-law. Mr. Reeves passed away just this past October. The Reeves family's owned this lot at 165 North Raleigh Street. It'll be 100 years in November of this year. Through the years, we could have done a lot of different things with it. We've had all kind of offers, but Mr. Reeves and Mr. Gardner sitting over here, they made an agreement 25 years ago. They shook on that agreement, and Mr. Reeves told all of us to be sure that that lot was available to Mr. Stewart as long as he wanted to operate his towing business there. Mr. Stewart he's 81 years old, so I think it's very applaudable of him to even still be working and doing the type of work he does. But I think the stringent enforcement of this, I think, is unreasonable. I really believe that. I think in his case, he's been there 25 years. He's at a point in his working career where a substantial investment of that magnitude, he would never recover that. He would never recover that. This property is almost an entire city block, and to fence that with something else other than what is there now, I think would also enhance the legal non-conforming use of that property, and that's something that, we certainly don't want to get in trouble with the town about. But I think it's unreasonable. I think that requiring him to do that after he's been there so long, the ordinance that you adopted back in 2013 that addressed this, we have this thing in the statutes 1-51(5)(a) and B, where a town has basically 5 years to enforce these type of ordinances on the property owner, and that's not been done. Through the years, even when I worked here in the county, I would have conversations with the town all the time. A couple of folks prior to Mr. Vincent I knew well. But we're just asking for some relief. I can honestly tell you that my 75-year-old widowed mother-in-law and our 81-year-old business tenant, they are not discussing a 30-year option on this property. So I just want you to understand that and understand the reasonableness that we feel like that we would want you to show to us. Mr. Stewart, he works hard. He works hard. He provides a service in this town, and he's done so for a long time. And he's a great tenant. We've never raised the rent on him. He's raised it on himself several times, and I think that speaks to the type of person that he is. As recently as November, after Mr. Reeves died, he said, "Miss Reeves, I need to pay you more money to help you pay for that funeral." That's just the kind of person that we're talking about here. I think what he has been there. I don't see any problem with it. I'm not aware of any complaints, but it was a little shocking to us with everything else we've been going through to get hit with that and those demands placed on us and on the property. So I would just ask for your help as the gentleman before me. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? And thank you, Mr. Burns. Again, we do not take action, but I'll refer that to the town manager to place on an agenda for discussion. All right. And Mr. Garner, I assume he said what you wanted. Did you sign up, Stuart Gardner? Okay. Is that this? Yes, okay. And Kennebec Baptist has 2 representatives, and I assume you will speak to that when it comes up. Okay, good enough. We'll move on then. The consent agenda has approval of minutes of December 21st and January the 4th of this year. Is there a motion to approve the prior minutes?
I make the motion that we approve the prior minutes.
All in favor, raise your right hand. It is so done. All right, we have public hearings. Voluntary annexation position by Kennebec Baptist Church. So very quickly it came up. Let's see, Sean, do you want to let Sean present it, then you can address us. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Board. Staff report. Thank you. Each board member should have a copy of my staff report in front of them to follow along, as well as on the screen here. We have a voluntary annexation petition submitted by the Kennebec Baptist Church as our first public hearing on tonight's agenda. Roughly 25.39 acres total, including where the Kennebec Baptist Church is currently constructed. The church approached the town a few months back. We're interested in connecting to Town of Andrew sewer services. They're currently already connected to Town of Andrew water services. Obviously, our town code requires annexation before connecting to town sewer, thus the petition. We do have a rezoning request immediately following this annexation because it is currently in Wake County zoning jurisdiction until annexed. But there are 2 separate public hearings, the first of which is just for the annexation. Any questions for me before we hear from the church?
Sean, what would they have to do to tie into our sewer?
Good question. The adjacent property owner is developing the Kennebec Crossing subdivision just to the west of the church's property on Kennebec Church Road. That developer is providing a Town of Andrew utility easement and sewer stub towards the rear of the church property that will be could be tied into in the future.
Okay. To continue the hearing, we'll hear from the petitioners. The church, yes.
Hello, Thomas Dean with Kennebec Baptist Church, and this is our pastor, Mark Howard. And we would ask that you all could consider us to be part of y'all's town for annexation. I've talked last week with the engineers, with the development that is coming next door to us, and they're being gracious enough to stub out for us. And actually, we're going to let their, if time considers, we're going to let their utility people go ahead and put in the system for us. So they've agreed to that. So, you got anything to say?
Mr. Mayor and members of the board, it's nice to be with y'all tonight. I came to Kennebec in October of 2000. I've been there almost 22 years now. And when people ask me where my church is located, I don't say we're in Wake County. I don't say we're in Fuquay. I say we're in Andrew. Over half of the population of our church has a 27501 zip code, and we have considered ourselves part of Andrew since I've been there. And in fact, before I was there, Kennebec was part of Andrew, and it always has been part of Andrew. So it just seems like a natural thing for us to become an official part of Andrew. It's almost like you're going to make an honest church out of us or something. We've been a part of Andrew forever, but it would be really nice to actually be really officially part of Andrew. We do appreciate all of you, and thank you for even considering this, and very grateful to officially become part of Andrew, North Carolina.
Okay, continuing the public hearing, are there any comments from anyone in the audience? Okay. You'll state your name and address, please, sir.
Yeah, Trey Moore, and I'm at 2190 Oak Grove Church Road. Andrew, I've had a business. I just closed a business in 2019, and I had it from June of 91 to December of 2019 in Andrew. And this is also in reference to the fencing thing. Mr. Stewart, Tommy, the Neeson gentleman here. I own
Okay,
the
well,
property.
now this has to be germane to this particular thing. Is that
to
what
the
you're doing?
church thing?
Yes.
Oh, I'm off of Mr. Martin, whatever they want to do, too. Yeah. I've known him for a long time, too.
It would be a tough position to oppose God, you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
If they want to be part of that, as far as I'm concerned, Kennebec Baptist Church is part of Andrew, because I grew
agree.
up going to that church, and I've lived in this town for 49 years, so. But now I wanted to comment on the fencing thing, but if I can't do that right now.
No, I'm afraid only about the public hearing here at this point. But thank you anyway. There you go. Anything else? If not, I'll close the public hearing. And any comments from the board?
I don't want to make a comment. It hasn't really nothing kind of to do with this, but it's kind of weird. And I look back here and I see Pastor from Andrew Baptist Church, and I see the pastor from Kennebec Baptist Church, and one saved me and one nearly drowned me. So many years ago, Mark and I think the other gentleman came to the house. He was in a rush to get home to watch Duke get beat that night by Carolina, if you remember, and you saved me in the living room that night. And I will never forget that. So thank you for that. And thank you for nearly drowning me.
I'm not going to ask for a show of hands who was favoring that. So. Okay. All right. If nothing else, are you ready for a vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I make the motion that we go ahead and approve the petition for the annexation for Kennebec Baptist Church.
The motion is before you. If there is no further discussion, are you ready to vote?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. So then we then are in position to consider the rezoning request. Sean, if you'll tell us about that.
Yes, sir. As promised, public hearing number 2 is for the consideration of a staff proposed zoning for the property just annexed into the town of Andrew's jurisdiction. This property was previously zoned Wake County R30, and the proposed rezoning is to Andrew's office and institutional district. We know where the property in question is, on Kennebec Church Road, just west of Highway 55, across the Wake County line here. On the screen here, on the left side, you'll see a screenshot from our the Wake County zoning layer. That yellow color is the previous zoning of Wake County R30 that I mentioned. The property to the north is the Johnson's Landing subdivision, zoned Town of Andrew R6. The property to the east is zoned General Commercial. This is the Bellwood subdivision to the southeast of the property here. And this vacant box right here is that Kennebec Crossing subdivision currently under construction that we talked about earlier. Proposed uses allowed, permitted uses allowed in the O&I district include parks and rec, schools, government facilities, office, retail, and of course churches. This was selected by staff for the purpose, for the reason that the church is only a permitted use in one zoning district, which is O&I. So this will allow for the continued use of the property by the church, as well as the future expansion of the church anytime down the road. Physical characteristics. This is an aerial screenshot from 2021 off of the Wake County GIS system. You can see the existing church building there near the road with the remaining of the 25 acres mostly wooded currently. If you're curious, the sewer will stub right near the rear corner here on the northwest corner of the property from the adjacent subdivision. That's where the church will have the opportunity to tie in the future. Surrounding land uses include medium-density residential, as well as some retail and service uses along Highway 55 here to the east. I mentioned the property is currently served by Town of Andrew Water, and we talked about sewer being available next door. As always, we consider our future land use map when looking at zoning changes. You'll notice the red arrow is pointed to a blank box. That represents the 25 acres owned by the church right here. Not yet on our land use map, will immediately be added to our land use map upon rezoning approval. Let's see. The planning board reviewed this application at their last meeting and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the property to the O&I district. And staff also recommends approval for the reasons stated in your staff report in front of you. Any other questions from staff about this rezoning to O&I?
We're the board. I think they're the staff. Over
Correct. No questions.
Any?
Yeah. Sean, I don't know if I'll get another opportunity to talk to you tonight about any rezoning, but while you're up here, it doesn't pertain to this pretty much because they're not going to R6, but it's my understanding that you're telling people that there'll be no more R6 in this town without conditional rezoning. Where did you get that information from?
The board provided me that
was the
feedback.
instruction of the board.
Okay, when did the board do that?
Last year.
And when did we vote on that?
It's been told to me at least 3 times in meetings.
When we talked about it at a retreat last March, we indicated how can we get out of a straight R6 rezoning, and the majority of the board, if not all the board, indicated conditional.
Okay, I think that's a proper subject for us to discuss at our next planning meeting.
Workshop.
So, anything else for Sean? All right. Does anyone in the audience want? Do the petitioners? Did y'all have your say last time? Okay. Anybody else want to comment about it? If not, I will close the hearing. Okay. Any discussion among the board members? Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the Kenny Beck
Rezoning request, okay.
rezoning request.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Okay. Congratulations. Okay. All right. New business. There's a budget amendment. Hans is keeping us really tight. And so, Hans, you want to tell us about this budget amendment? Or does Jerry want to do it?
Hans will do it.
Okay.
This budget amendment, it's very straightforward. So, not compared to in March, we will have a budget amendment that'll be so multifaceted. It'll be great to look at. I can't wait for that one. This one here, it just has to do with insurance proceeds that we had received for damages that were done to our parks and rec bathrooms, fire, whatnot, yada yada. So basically, we had received $25,875, and therefore we are going to allow the increase of allowable spending within the capital outlay expenditure line within Parks and Rec. We received the money, we're accepting that, and then we're going to increase allowable spending. So,
wow, how's that for straightforward, folks?
Was that kind of?
Okay. All right. Is there a motion on this?
Make a motion that we adopt budget amendment number 8.
If there's no discussion on it, all in favor, raise your right hand. It appears to be unanimous. All right. Thank you. Then you're going to talk about asset forfeiture, or is that Jerry?
I can. Yes, that is next.
Well, that's the police department.
No, that's fine. So this is something that we have had in the works for the past 3 fiscal years. This is something that we just wanted to do and do it properly. In the past, the drug seizure money had been held in a liability line, a balance sheet line item, something that you don't see. You don't see as a revenue line, you don't see as an expenditure line, it's a liability line. That's how we had it in the past. And honestly, that is just not that's not straightforward. Imagine, okay, if something were to happen to me tomorrow, a truck, I don't know. Anyways, so you have another finance director come in, and it's going to take some time to find this money that's being held in all these line items within the general fund. So what we're doing is we're taking the money out of the liability line. It's been gathering drug seizure money, and we're going to put it into a new fund, a separate fund, which is, again, this money is supposed to be restricted anyways. I mean, whether it's from the federal side or the state side, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it used to be where you had to have a separate checking account for just this money. Now, of course, they understand, okay, you've got funds, and your funds are, they're very transparent. So basically, this budget ordinance, the asset forfeiture, is essentially what we're doing is we're creating transparency. That's what we're doing. And this is a very, very wise move.
Okay. Any questions for Hans?
Who would have access to this money?
I do. I like that question. So really, the police chief, along with the town manager, but still the police chief, signs off on this money because the police chief knows and will continue to know what is allowed to be spent on. You can't just frivolously spend it on what you would like. There are standards and you have to abide by. So police chief signs off on it. Mr. Vincent signs off on it. Okay, I sign the check. That's fine. Make sure there's money in there. But at the end of the day, that is the process.
Okay. Yeah. Chief, you have anything to add? Okay. Well, it appears that those involved are all in favor of it. So how about the board? Any questions or motions? Or?
I make a motion that we consider the approval of the budget ordinance that pertains to the drug seizure money.
And to set up the fund to put the seizure money in.
Yes,
okay. Any further questions or discussion? If not, if you're in favor, raise your right hand. And that would once again be unanimous. All right. Thank you, Hans and Chief. Okay. All right. Old business. We have a petition for annexation submitted by Jimmy Johnson and Connie and Vicky Mendenhall. So we just need to instruct the clerk to set a date for a public hearing.
Okay.
I
make a motion that we go ahead and give Veronica permission to go ahead and set up a date for the hearing.
Any discussion? That's what you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, I thought you did. So it's a resolution to fix the date for the public hearing. Any discussion?
Nope.
If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, that was unanimous as well. All right. Well, that's basically the new and old business. Mr. Manager, what do you have to report?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the board, good evening. Again, the budget retreat we're looking at sometime in March. Staff and I are preparing for this retreat again. We are going to utilize TJ Council of Government to facilitate the discussions. We are looking to schedule the retreat sometime mid to late March, so I will need for the board members to send me their dates that they can attend. Again, we're looking at a Friday, Saturday type time frame, and the locations yet to be determined. And also, with in your emails to me, we can indicate where we want to move this out of town, or we want to continue to have it right here in the boardroom. Number two, the General Assembly funding. We did receive notification today that the applications were received by the state today. They were applications were sent to the state yesterday by FedEx and were received in their office today. We're talking about $10.4 million that came from the General Assembly. And to date, we have most of those funds committed. Number one, we're looking at $2.5 million for a $500,000 gallon elevated water tank storage. Number two, we're looking at $4.2 million for the water distribution core system replacement of the water lines. Three, we're looking at $3.3 million for additional sewer capacity from Harnett County. And the $400,000 for drainage we have not committed as of yet, but we're looking at our drainage study to determine which projects that we need to knock out. Number three, COVID-19. All of you know, and the citizens as well, we had a major outbreak in COVID. I don't know if it was COVID, Delta, Omicron, but a large number of our employees were hit hard in the last 3 weeks. So we were affected. Most, if not all, employees, with the exception of me. I don't know how it happened. Did not test positive, but everybody else did. So we had no choice to shut down Town Hall for 3 weeks. Our employees are back. They're healthy. They're 100%, and the doors open first thing Monday morning. So we're back in full force.
Excellent.
Last is the new town hall and the police headquarters. I've been meeting weekly with Rogers Builders, which is our contractor, and Oak Collier, which is our architects, to plan for the new town hall. Tentatively, staff plans to move in the spring. Jimmy's given me notice that this week, administration is going to move out to Public Workshop this week. Some part of March and April, planning, code enforcement will move to the Parks and Rec office building. And then lastly, it will be our utilities and police department will move across the street at 58 North Broad Street. Also in the schedule, again, we've been meeting weekly. The construction schedule is based on materials and availability of materials. Steel seems to be the biggest driving force for us. So right now, our schedule is to be completely out of the building by Memorial Weekend, which is the end of May, and start construction in June. It's a 13-month construction period. So if all goes well, we'll be in a new building July 1 of 2023. And that's all I have.
We didn't by chance have a picture of the proposed new building that we could show folks, did you?
No, sir, but we do plan to have a public meeting at a workshop on February 15th, and we'll have those available.
Okay. All right. Any questions of the manager?
Mr. Mayor, is there any way we can move the a discussion on the board retreat to our next workshop? To discuss utilizing TJ Council of Government, the staff to facilitate the discussions.
I'm assuming the manager can put that on the...
Yeah, and February 15th is going to be we have a number of topics, and I know the largest one is Harnett County is coming in to talk about the reevaluations. And then and I know they've indicated that's an hour conversation there, and we have the downtown study. And we have 3 other topics. If you want me to put it on there, I will, for discussion or...
Well, I just noticed, and I know I'm not the only one sitting up here to have, it just seemed like last year we never got much time to talk amongst the staff and stuff. It seemed like all our time was consumed with the with the council of government and left us very little time to discuss really what we thought we would be here to discuss.
Well, and their job is to facilitate the discussion, so I can ask them to do more of that and have you guys discuss more instead of moving to other topics. We had a full plate last year. This year is not as much, but there are some hot topics.
That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got a good point, Junior. So I understand what you're saying, and if it means discussion just briefly at the next workshop, I know there's a lot there, but I think we understand what Junior's saying, and I don't think it needs a lot of discussion. It's either toned down with them,
Okay.
that we really get to our work without doing a lot of, charts and game playing, but that we dive into what we have to do so we can spend the time to do that stuff.
Okay.
How much do we pay them to come in and do that?
I think it's maybe $1,600. It's really just their time.
Okay. Could you check on that
Yeah.
for us so we have a dollar amount
Right.
when we sit to discuss that?
Okay.
I would appreciate that.
I
Thank
will.
you.
So you do want it for discussion on the 15th?
I would say yes.
Okay.
If we have to sit there another 15 minutes, well, that's what we do.
Okay.
Okay, anything further?
Jerry, is there any way that you can look at the budget and see what we can do about maybe getting 2 to 3 more police officers at nighttime? I've had a lot of people come to me and say that they feel that the night crew they're not overwhelmed, but that more, since we're having more subdivisions being built, and with them bringing supplies in, that it would be more for their subdivisions to be protected, more, cops on the ground.
Right. So Lee and I have talked. Our budget notebooks are going out this week. He is looking at 3 full-time officers for
Okay.
July 1. So that is the plan. Even if you approve that today, I think Lee would tell you
There's nobody to hire.
there's nobody to hire. They have to go through the academy, and
Right.
that takes. So,
Right.
far as I know, Lee and I discussions we've had, he's planning for 3 new
Okay.
full-time officers.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, Manager, I want to make sure that we have on the agenda, whether it be at the workshop or whenever, to discuss this fencing that people are talking about here. Are we going to do that at our workshop?
I had it down for the workshop as well.
Okay.
I referred it to him, yes. Okay. All right, staff reports. Let's see, looks like Bill, he's not here. He's not here, okay. He's got a lot going on.
He does, yeah.
Bill will be here at the February 15th meeting.
Okay.
Busy man. Well, so thankfully last week we held our quarterly departmental budget reviews, and it was fantastic. And why we do that, well, regardless, we do it to assess the department's spending, if there are any mispostings that we need to reallocate, or of course if there are budget amendments, that need to be done. And so the meetings were great, a lot of notes taken. So I still need to, of course, catch up with Mr. Vincent, but that basically is why I was talking about how the next budget amendment that we will see will be very unique. It will be very long, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We need to clean up our books a bit. So that is what these meetings were about. So,
Are you talking now for finance or Bill?
no, good point. Not Bill. Nope.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
I do not have his level of expertise. No.
This is
This is
financial engineering.
Yes. Yes. Creative accounting. All right. So looking at that and looking at our numbers, of course, they're great. If we recall last fiscal year, our local option sales tax, the monthly distribution that we would get, we were happy when it was just breaching 90,000. And then more towards the end of last fiscal year, we were excited that the monthly distribution was exceeding 100,000. And now, on average, now it's actually exceeding 110,000. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that even though we moderately aggressively, if you can use those two words together, we budgeted proper, but we are exceeding expectations, and that's fantastic. The general fund is doing great. Technically, really, even when we're looking at ad valorem property taxes, we are already at a 92% collection. We will very likely exceed what we had budgeted. Needless to say, yes, there will be budget amendments within the revenue lines at some point here, but I am confident that our budget process last go around was very productive, and so too, I think we can be nearly the same this go around as well. This budget retreat will be exciting. There's no doubt about that. So if we compare just actuals, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to just point out at least, again, ad valorem, right? Compared to last fiscal year, if we're looking at actuals, and we're looking at December, anyways, we have received 189,000 more than last fiscal year. That's actuals. Budgetarily, again, we are exceeding our expectations. So thank God we are in such a wonderful financial situation. And thank God that we are being proactive with our projects and moving forward. We did adopt a fund balance policy that was a minimum threshold of 50%. Now, naturally, we do know what our actual fund balance percentage is. It's well over 100%. But that is, there are a lot of projects that need to be done. So I can't, no one can say that that is a good percentage. At the end of the day, with all the projects that are going on, certainly we'll be below 90%, and that's being vague, but yes. So, again, we all like the trajectory in which we're going. We really do. We have lots to be proud of, and again, as I've said before, I really enjoy how we work together. So that is all I have.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Hans, can you go to page, I guess 14 or 21, the profit loss?
Yeah, I should have had it with me. Okay, yeah.
How are we going, where's our figures at on collecting? I don't see that in here.
Okay.
Did you miss it this time?
It should be there. Is that pie chart not there? If not, okay, it may not. Yeah, we're talking about our collections with basically people who aren't paying their bills.
Right.
Okay. So we didn't really actually make much progress in the last couple months. But now that people are paying their taxes and whatnot, we will, the clearinghouse, NC Debt Setoff, is going to start taking money from people's refunds. They won't see it happening, but it's going to happen. And so we can really see this revenue jump up, hopefully like last fiscal year, if not better. Mm-hmm. That would be really great. Truly, we've done very well with our collections because, well, we've done very well with our collections because of Donna.
Yeah.
Donna DeMambro. She is very aggressive with collecting.
Yeah, last time I saw this, I mean, she was doing an outstanding job. I just didn't see it this time. That's the reason I was asking.
I'll make sure to include it, in fact, revise it, and then send a revised version out this week. Yeah.
Almost $10,000, and this year so far we've collected almost $1,200. But again, when people start submitting their taxes, then
Yeah, I remember seeing that now. I remember seeing, and that's the reason I brought it up, because to me that number is low compared to the last 3 years.
Well,
Right.
well, I would say this: before Hans got here, we were not doing much in delinquency. So once
Right.
Hans and his staff got together, our delinquencies recovery, fiscal year 19 was 5,100, 2020 was 6,000, 2021 was almost 10,000. So
And
it's
we're
low
1,100
now, but we're getting there.
Okay.
Only January.
I appreciate that. That's very astute.
okay.
Yes.
Anything else for Hans?
Nope.
Thank you, Hans, as always. Doing a good job. Who's next?
Good evening, everyone. So just a few things. We have had, after the holidays, we were trying to kind of take it easy as we start planning. We've been working on getting the rest of our programs through the school year done, and we've already started getting all of our summer programs, booking performers and stuff. So we've been busy. We're continuing to work with the Santa and Friends Blanket Ministry. Our knitting group is working on blankets to donate through their ministry. We've had a few that have already been completed, and so we're going to continue to do that. And we've officially started I know we didn't talk about it at the last meeting because I wasn't here, the project that we got into, which is through MIT to start a STEM program here. And we've got one thing that we're working on. We're one of 20 libraries in the country that got accepted into the program. So we started working on that this month. We're working on remixing what they've put together to fit into a rural library. So that's
You want to
something-
explain a little more what that is for folks out here?
The program it's through the Public Library Exchange, which is a part of MIT, and they have been working. They have a few different activities that they put out that it's to bring. They've got the programs, and they're working on trying to see how they need to adapt them to fit into rural and tribal libraries and the rural libraries that have low-income populations around them. So they provided all the supplies that we needed for the program to put on for 20 kids. And so we're able to take that, and we've got lots of meetings that we're working on discussing how we can change things to adapt for each library. There's 4 libraries doing each of the 5 activities. So we're able to brainstorm together. So we will be putting that program on in March when we have our STEM month. We're also, this month, we will be putting it out for the public. We're excited. We're finally getting it's called a seed library started. So it's going to be a free community program that we will basically have seeds, flowers, vegetables, fruits that'll be available to the community, no library card needed, that people can come in, they can basically check them out. And if people save seeds, if they have seed packets that they don't use all of them, they can donate them so we can continue to circulate those throughout the community. And so that's something that we have 3 companies that have donated seeds nationally. So they do programs like this. So we've got those coming in. So that will start this month. So.
Wow. A lot going on. Questions from the board?
Katie, I don't know if it was last year or year before, you received some donations, and I think you might have purchased some stuff for people to use at the park.
Correct.
I don't see that on this report. You don't put it on there no more, or how much you give it out, or?
We have our library of things, and we've expanded that over the last year. And I don't track every single item that goes out every single time. We keep the checkout sheets. People have the opportunity, but we constantly rotate through things because on top of the equipment that we have for the park, we have board games, we have household goods, we have STEM activities, and so we've got a lot of things that we do rotate through. We don't track that individually.
Is it being used?
It is.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
HR, did you have anything? We skipped over you. Okay. All right, who's next?
I think HR needs to have something once in a while. She never seems to have anything, so I think she needs to have something. Melissa, I think you need to have something once in a while.
You're out of order. Continue.
You guys have my report. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
When can I walk my dog?
Soon.
I know, I'm excited.
Very soon.
It's looking
Very
good
soon.
down there. Was in there today.
Yeah,
It's, you guys have been busy, and it's going to be looking very good.
Yeah, as soon as the weather broke, all the contractors started showing up out of the blue, so that's a good thing. Things are moving forward down there. So there seems to be a discrepancy on whether or not we call it a dog park or a bark park. Our town manager wants to call it a bark park.
I
would like to just get discretion from the board on that if we can.
I think those two go together anyway.
You trying to overrule me?
We've had some conversations about that. So
Well, it's looking nice down there.
yeah, it's coming together a little bit. Finally got some good weather. So excited about the changes and the progress being made.
Yeah, and Derek has a lot going on at the park. I mean, I think you mentioned today that the wrought iron fencing is going around the old school.
Yeah.
Bark Park, we're getting signs made, and so I'm sorry, Dog Park. So lots going on there. New additional parking being paved. So,
Derek, I got a question for you. The damage to the bathrooms, what was that again? I tried to look it up. Was it 26, 27?
It was right at $26,000.
26,000.
Yep.
How much was the cost to repair the painting of the building in the back and everything?
That was total cost for everything.
No. The vandalism we had down there.
We did that in house. So basically, that was us getting graffiti remover and paint and taking care of it ourselves. So basically, whatever.
We had talked about in the past about, I know the kid's working down there, and I've talked with him, and he says he goes down there in the evening times and locks the bathrooms and whatever. Is it time that we hire someone to be there on the weekends now? I mean, to help you guys out? I mean, I know it's off season and all of that, but all this is happening in off season as well. The bathroom was vandalized, on the weekend?
It was a Saturday night.
And then the building was vandalized on the weekend, correct?
Saturday night.
Okay. Well, do we know for sure every night? I know it was late in the evening when the bathrooms was burnt because I was down there and I don't know about.
The graffiti was done after dark, but early evening. And they were caught on camera.
Mm-hmm. I know you guys are working. I mean, I imagine you're all down at the gym and everything with the basketball and everything. You're working.
Yeah, I mean,
6-7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, we need somebody at the park to help secure the park. They're not going to do anything if they see somebody down there, and we can't. I mean, we can't monitor it, 24/7. Ty locks the bathrooms on nights that we're not working, basically. Like tonight, I was down there and I told him, I said, I got the bathrooms. You don't need to worry about locking the bathrooms because I was down there till 6:15, so I locked them on my way here. I don't know what the right answer is. I know, the fire marshal said they couldn't tell that it was deliberately set, the bathroom fires.
Right.
And the graffiti is the first time we've had graffiti in years down there. Knock on wood, it seems to me, from prior experience, the nicer we make the park, the less likely we have vandalism and, for lack of a better word, riffraff happening down there, because we get a better clientele of people, that come down to use the park facilities, like with the new dog park, with some of the other stuff that we're doing. I don't know if we can ever keep it from happening 100%, but since we upgraded the park the last 15, 16 years, that stuff has really gone down as far as frequency of it happening. I don't know why it happened, the graffiti. We haven't seen that in years, and all of a sudden, you know, I think it was just teenage kids being teenage kids, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'll take any suggestions if you think that, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know, they're gonna put a lookout, you know, and they're not gonna do anything. They see the police around, to see us around. They're gonna wait till the coast is clear, and then they're gonna strike really fast. And I think the night that they did it, I think me and David Adams looked at the video, and they were in and out in less than 2 minutes, at least behind the office there, and they went straight to the basketball court from there.
Yeah.
So
bathrooms, there are cameras pointing towards that building.
we got them on camera, but they had their face covered. Yeah, they even looked at the camera a couple times with their face covered. They knew cameras were there.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, what I'm trying to say, Derek, if you ever need any help from us, let us know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know what we can do, you know, but it's not. I don't think it's anything to be alarmed about or concerned about. I hate it when it happens. We all do. But if we can go another 3 to 5 years with nothing else happening down there, I'm okay with that. I mean, and like I said, I feel like, you know, upgrading the facility constantly helps the proper clientele to police. If they see something going on, they'll make us aware of it, make the proper authorities aware of it. A lot of times it seems to be the case now that we do have more self-policing going on down there than we've ever had. So hopefully it continues that way. Anything else?
Keep doing a good job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Right on. Okay, plannings and inspections.
Well, your planning and inspections department is busy as usual. You're gonna get tired of hearing me say that over the next few years.
Is your mic on? Yeah.
Pretty soft. Your planning and inspection department staff report should have been in your packet. I'm going to hit the highlights for you tonight. We issued 75 total permits during the month of January, 23 of which were for new construction single-family dwellings, which brings our total for the fiscal year up to 74, with 5 months to go. Did want to point out that our total fees collected in our department has already exceeded our budget projections for fiscal 2022 with 5 months to go, which is great news for as we go into fiscal 23's budget going forward here. Page 2 of my staff report always includes a list of the active projects in town. Wanted to point out we have 15 major subdivisions in various stages of review, approval, and construction. And the multifamily and non-residential projects will always be at the bottom of that page. If any of your constituents, any of you have questions, send them my way. Have them call me, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to provide them copies of site plans, subdivision plans by request. Our code enforcement officer, Mr. Hodges, is hard at work. You'll see him driving around town just about every day. The ordinance that was approved during the January meeting to tear down the house in North Broad, just wanted to give everybody an update. Tiny amount of asbestos was found at that house when we had it evaluated. We're working now with an abatement contractor to have that removed before we proceed with demo. That's the holdup on that one, in case anybody asks. Do want to point out that our community development coordinator, Heather Kiefer, is hard at work getting events coordinated for this upcoming year. She's going to have a whole lot to show you this spring and summer. It's going to be a fun time at the depot as she works with various nonprofits around town to get events scheduled for us. GetToKnowAndrew.org. That's the website with all the info. If you want to be a vendor at one of her events, if you want to see the calendar of what events we have coming up, if you have questions on how to get involved, send everybody to GetToKnowAndrew.org. That's her website. Any questions for me?
On for code enforcement, are they coming in town now? I know you're working out just outside town for some issues that that you guys have been cleaning up, but we have some issues here in town that we've been people have been coming to us about. Are you going to be sitting in town here on some things?
Yeah. Is there a specific address or two?
Well, one of them is that was brought to our attention is the banners that the charter school has up.
Charter school banners.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've been up there for almost about a year and a half now.
Okay.
And I don't know why they got chains holding it together now on the poles out front where a sign should be.
Okay.
That's one of them. And there's another one on a church here behind, parking lot behind Ed's and all, that little church here. They put a banner up on the,
Okay,
up there that's been up there for about 3 weeks now.
gotcha.
And there's the Lions Auto Repair there across from Sunny Skies.
Yeah.
Are we going to do anything about telling them to help clean up, because it's looking pretty bad down there?
Okay, absolutely. I'll have Mr. Hodges look at those 3 places. If you think of anything else, shoot me or Shannon an email with those addresses. We'll investigate.
Okay.
Sean, aren't y'all hiring a new tech planning
Yeah,
department?
yeah, absolutely. I have an opening for a planning technician, or excuse me, a permitting technician position with Emily's resignation as of March 1st.
Okay. Did y'all put in place yet the weekend, or is that something we're going to discuss in our workshop?
Sean and I have discussed it. He hadn't put it in place yet, but we can discuss it at the workshop.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, thank you. Sean, always good job. Chief?
Lord, I hope everybody's doing good tonight. ABC report is included in y'all's packets. Just touching real quick on the statistics for the month of January. Police activity for the month of January consisted of 2,935 calls for service / officers initiated activities. Officers investigated 18 offenses. During these investigations, 8 individuals were arrested on a total of 15 charges. 4 arrests were made due to outstanding warrants. 2,592 subdivisions / security checks were logged for the month of January. We were able to partner with the Sheriff's Office collecting items for Kentucky area relief effort. And with everyone's hard work and support, we collected enough items to fill up 2 tractor trailers and sent all of them items off. That was fun. Several of y'all went with us. Mm-hmm. Without going into a lot of detail, we have identified and charged 2 individuals with the bank robbery that happened December 31st. With the help of Andrew Elementary and Carolina Charter, we're developing a new active shooter protocol. And last, myself, town manager, Hans, we were here at 8:30 last night. We applied for a grant to replace our Motorola handheld radios. We were notified just a short time ago. I think the word actually got out a while back, but we did not get the information. But our radios were going to be obsolete come January 2025. That's going to be a big bill to replace everything, so we're trying to get grants now to prepare for that. That's all I've got. Y'all have any questions?
Yeah, Lee, can you catch me up on the what are we doing with our police cars that we replaced them with? What are we doing? Do we own those cars?
They're leased, right?
At least.
Or everything's leased, what we had and what we got?
No, not everything. We own several of them outright, but the new Durangos
are leased.
They're leased.
The ones that we own, are we using those now, or we plan on selling those?
We're still having to use several of them as of right now.
Okay.
We actually sold one last week. I think it was it last week, Ron? Yeah, last week, and that was the last one we had for sale that we could afford to get rid of.
Okay.
Yeah, our plan is to get rid of the older aged vehicles that are creating more maintenance issues and costly, and so we're doing a lease program on those. But we have probably half a dozen that are good shape that we're going to keep until then.
And when y'all sold it, where did that money go?
It goes into general funds to start with.
Do you have it on your report, Hans?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
I could Well, it's not,
Previous
it's
one.
not in the report, but I can actually provide a report that's detailed that essentially it can have line item by line item, because really the report that we get now is similar to a statement of revenues and expenditures, and it kind of categorically groups revenue and expenses, you know, and it kind of simplifies the view. But if we want to,
Just like to see where the money, how much we got for it, where it went, and the whole 9 yards. I mean, be transparent with everything.
yeah, we'll do.
Absolutely.
All right.
You have anything?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Let us know if you need anything.
Will do.
Okay. Any? Jimmy. Facilities.
Good evening, board. Hope everybody's doing well. Got my report in front of you. Just hit a couple of the highlights. The repair of the depot deck. Hopefully, the railing will be put up at the end of this week or the first of next. They already got the deck part down, and I think that's looking good.
That's that side.
That is the Broad Street side. Yes, sir. That's correct. Yes, sir. Lanier's Construction has started putting up some signs and silt fences along the Highway 210. That's our sidewalk project from Walgreens down to Fish Drive and Park Street. So they'll be busy at that here shortly. So they'll probably putting in some pipes sometime next week. As you can see, the annex building has been demoed and has been put back up down at 594 Campbell Street. So we've got that done.
And you're going to put a roof on it, but not the floor right now until next year.
So in next year's budget, we'll add the other amenities to it, concrete floor, and we saved the metal off the building. We're going to reuse that, and then we'll put some doors up, and then electrical, everything else in next year's budget.
Okay.
And then also busy time of year for us with the weather changing from freezing weather to warming up. So we have water lines and stuff like that you'll see staff working on. So I think we had 3 last week that staff jumped right on in one day and got those repaired. And also along Kennebec Road, we had an old 2-inch line that staff is taking out of service and tying them onto an existing 12-inch water line. So Highland Ridge subdivision will be putting a force main along there. So to keep that out of conflict, we were removing old 2-inch lines. So staff is busy working on that. And I think that is most of it. So if you got any questions, let me know.
You want to tell the story about the old fire station, the annex building? I mean, it was going to cost us $55,000 to tear it down.
It was. We ended up getting it demoed and erected for $65,000, and according to conversations with the manager, that it was going to cost us about $55,000 or so for them to demo the building.
Just throw it away and tear it down.
That's correct. So it's part of history. So we, with the board's blessing and the manager's blessing, we moved forward and got it relocated down there to Campbell Street.
But what appeals to me is that for $10,000, we basically got another usable building.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Down there.
Yes,
so that was a good decision.
Yep.
Jimmy, I was down at Napa Tandy's a couple weeks ago. You got a man that works for you. I think he lives in Irwin. He had retired. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mark.
It's very rare that you have an employee in any business that talks as highly about their boss man as he did you. You should be proud to have him on your team. And if you ever decide to run for governor, he ought to be your campaign manager. He takes the world of you.
I appreciate that. We got a great staff.
Just got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
In front of Ed's on 210 there, where you guys replaced that water pipe in the middle of the road there.
Yes, sir.
You need to take a look at that because it's pretty deep.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and then with the weathers, it's hard for us to get asphalt.
Right.
And that'd be one of those we're going to have to do a lot of lane shifts as we did originally, but we've got that on our agenda to get that taken care of.
Is there a reason why it's sinking down that much in that area?
It may have been, there may have been some of the soil that we didn't get all the wet soil out, and all this is settling out a little
Settling.
bit. Yes, sir.
I'm just worried about where the little manhole there, it's going to push down and bust the pipe or something.
Well,
because it's sunk down about.
Jim was complaining about speeding down there, so we put an inverted speed bump to slow it down. So that's
there you go. Touche.
But we'll get it taken care of. Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'd like to add some recognition also for Public Works for Jimmy. During the ice/snow, I heard a lot of compliments about how clear the roads were, how quickly they became clear, and people wanting to know, was it DOT or Public Works? And I said, that was hometown.
Public
That was
Works,
hometown.
yes.
So it was multiple, and you should be congratulated for all your hard work. And it's scary out there, and knowing you guys are out there trying to help keep us safe, we very much appreciate it.
Amen. Okay. Anything from the board?
Yes, I would like to say that this past week, Mr. Mayor, I know there had been some concerns about members of the board completing their ethics training. I just want you to let everybody know that mine is completed. I finished it up on Friday.
Good, good.
So.
Let's give him a hand. All right. Yeah, we're required to complete the ethics. All of us are. And so, what? Okay, well, I was, okay, I'm through, I guess. Go ahead.
I just want to say a little bit. First of all, it's about the fence deal, and how did it get started about the fence deal, wanting us to put up a fence?
Jerry, you want to comment on that?
I don't, Sean can probably tell us the history, but if we're going to put this on the item for the workshop, that's the time to have the discussion.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's go to another one. To start with, I don't like the fence. It looks good for the first couple of years or so, and then when the fence starts aging, it looks like something you wouldn't even want in your backyard. And then if you do maintain the fence, it costs as much to maintain it each time you do it that it costs to put it up. And some of the other things I don't understand either. We go through a process that which none of you, unless it's you and you, understand completely what it is to run one of these businesses that's been coming at us. We're involved with a whole lot of different things, which most businesses are. We're at the mercy of DMV. We're at the mercy of the insurance companies. Therefore, that's basically what I want to say. And I don't know of one of us that's not in this business that don't have a lot of respect for the people. And as a mechanic, that's what you don't have a good mechanic business if you're not respected. You don't have a good towing business if you're not respected.
Right.
And I do thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Bob,
Yes.
can we mention something before? Or are you
Sure.
about to wrap us up? Is that what you're
this
planning?
is for mayor and town board reports.
No, I just want to make a quick mention to everybody. The Chamber of Commerce banquet is coming up on March 22nd, and now is the time they are taking nominations for a Citizen of the Year and Business of the Year. And without your recommendations and your votes and things, that doesn't happen. So I encourage everybody, if you've got an outstanding citizen that you want to nominate, to get in contact with the chamber, and also to recognize our businesses. They do a Business of the Year. So please vote and go to their website.
There you go. We appreciate all the chamber does for the town. So thank you. But more than that, thank you folks for being here tonight. This is what democracy is all about, and we're pleased that we have the freedom and the responsibility to discuss things. Anything else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All in favor, get up and leave. All right.